Hey Sloabie Nation, welcome back to another DIY Wednesday. I'm really excited to share this DIY with you guys because lately I've been really into plants. I just feel like having them inside of my home makes me feel less lonely because there's another living thing that is surrounding me. Even in my office, I have a couple of plants as well. It just keeps the air nice and fresh and it just makes everything look very happy and chipper. I am really hoping that this spring I can build an indoor herb garden, but I decided to try this out first and see if it works, and if it does, then I'll just do it with all my herbs. So today we are going to be playing with English ivy, and I did a ton of research about how to grow plants in water where the roots will just form in water versus having it in soil. The reason why I wanted it to be in a water vase is because I think it just looks cool, you know, to be able to see the infrastructure of the plants. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab some strings and some straws and we're gonna start making these planters. To start out, you will need a vase, and I got this one for $1 at the Dollar Tree. Okay, you are going to need some paper straws, and I highly recommend using paper straws because they hold their shape a little bit better, and this one I got off of Amazon. For the base of this planter, you will need 5 pieces that are 2 inches long. And what I do is I just make a mark with a Sharpie, and then I use a pair of scissors to snip them. Next, I am going to use some embroidery floss, and I'm going to just slip it through the eye of the needle. To start out, I'm going to slip a bead onto the floss. Then I alternate with one of the 2-inch tubes. And then I add on another bead. And then another 2-inch tube. Keep repeating this so that when you bring the 2 ends together, it's going to look like a pentagon like this, with a bead in between each tube. Now go ahead and just tie the ends together. I did a triple knot to make sure that it's 100% secure. Okay, once I am done, I'm gonna cut off the excess and be sure to leave about 1/2 inch to 1 inch left over. Okay, let's set this aside for a little bit. Okay, take your straws again, and now you are going to cut out 10 pieces that are 3 inches long. Okay, now take your needle and thread it with embroidery floss, and you're going to slip a bead right onto the floss, and then slip a 3-inch tube onto the floss. Now taking the pentagon piece and slip it through one of the tubes on the pentagon. Once you've pulled the thread through, go ahead and add another 3-inch tube onto the floss. Okay, so once you bring the floss together, this is what it's going to look like, a little triangle with a bead right at the top. To finish it, you're going to tie a knot at the top and then just cut off the excess. Be sure to leave about 1/2 inch left over on the floss. Now rotate the pentagon a little bit and you're going to work on the next side. With your needle totally ready and threaded, go ahead and slip a bead onto the floss. Now a 3-inch tube onto the thread, and then you're going to slip it through the 2-inch tube that's on the one side of the pentagon. Once you pulled completely through, go ahead and add another 3-inch tube onto the floss, bring the 2 ends together, tie a knot at the top, and go ahead and snip off the excess. Okay, there's 3 sides of the pentagon left, so you're going to repeat this for the last 3 sides as well, and it's going to end up looking like a star. Okay, back to the straws. Now you're going to cut out 5 tubes that are 5 inches long. Okay, bring the star back, and what you're going to do is you're going to take the 5-inch tube and connect it to the point of the star. So to do this, I'm going to have a threaded embroidery floss, and I'm going to slip it through the bead like so. Just for some extra security, I'm going to go ahead and double knot at the top of the bead right here. And once I'm done knotting, I'm going to treat both ends of the floss as one piece of thread, and I'm just going to thread it through the 5-inch tube. I'm going to go ahead and repeat this on the other 4 points of the star. And this is what it should look like. You're going to have a star with 5 tubes hanging off each point of the star. Moving forward, I'm using this metal plate to be the center of my planter. So I'm gonna take the 5 tubes and I'm gonna thread it through the center of this metal plate. Now you don't have to use a metal plate. You can use a bead or a ring or whatever, anything to slip all of the thread through. And you're gonna tie a knot to finish it off. Okay, do you remember all of those little 1/2-inch strings that you left over? So to clean this up, just stuff it into the straws. And I like to use another straw folded in half to just jam it through so that it's easier. For this planter, I'm going to use English ivy because they're actually quite hard to kill. At the same time, they do aerate your bedroom, and so it'll help you sleep better at night. So I got myself some of these babies here. So in my kitchen, I laid down a plastic bag and I'm just gonna pop the ivy out of its original pot. And I'm going to basically play with the soil ball to work as much of the soil out as I can so that I end up with little plants like this. So once I'm done separating and removing most of the soil off of the roots, I'm just going to dip the roots into some room temperature water just to clean up some of the extra soil that is really attached onto the roots. Next, I pour in some room temperature filtered water into the vase. Here's a little trick I learned to keep your leaves very leafy and lush. You can mix a little bit of Epsom salt into the water. And since I'm saving up my eggshells, drying them and grinding them down, I'm going to add a little bit of the eggshells into the vase as well. It'll just make my plants to grow nice and strong. So now I'm going to use some clear Scotch tape to create a grid at the top of my vase. This way it will give the plant something to anchor down to since it's not living in soil anymore. In retrospect, I totally should have put in the pebbles before I taped it up, but yeah, don't be a doofus like me. You can go ahead and add the rocks in, but it's totally optional. You don't need the rocks either. Okay, now you're going to stick your plant into the vase and make sure that the roots is completely submerged. See the grid that I created with the Scotch tape? This really helps the plant have something to grip onto. Otherwise, it'll just topple over and fall out of the vase, and that's no fun. Once you're done placing all of your greenery into the vase, you can go ahead and slip the whole thing into your planter. Just lay the planter a little bit flat and then it will fit through one of the holes. And make sure that you feed all of the vines through first. Once you're done, you can go ahead and move the vines around so that it is kind of uniform on all sides. And ta-da! There you go, a really awesome planter for your room. Is your mind freaking blown or what? Isn't that such a great and fun DIY? What I'm planning to do is I'm going to make 3 of them and hang them from my bedroom, and I think it'll just be a really pretty thing to wake up to. If you do try this out, please take a picture of it and send it to any one of my social medias using the hashtag HeyKL or SLOABN, and I would love to take a look at it, and maybe hopefully I can feed off of some of your inspiration as well, so then I can start building my own indoor herb garden, which I'm super excited about. But yeah, if you guys like this video, you think it's a cool idea, go ahead and like it down below, share it with everyone that you know, and of course, hit subscribe because every subscriber equates to 1 fairy dust. I eat the fairy dust, and that is what motivates me to create more videos for you guys. But for now, you guys know how to end my videos. Remember to always rock on Sloabies. Bye! Usually when they send me these 2 things, like the lighter one always goes to my mom because she has much fairer skin than I. The mirror will tell you that. And then they also sent me 2 of these illuminator corrector cream sticks. One is in 20 and